So these 4-foot light up numbers are becoming more and more popular for birthday parties. Now this is my version of them, where you can't actually see any visible lights, and I think they look a lot more modern and a lot more stylish than the other ones that I've seen. So these are the other ones with the fairground bulbs. I just think these look a little bit dated now. It took me a long time to get the proportions of these numbers right, but I think I've got there now. All the other numbers can be set out from the 6 and 8, apart from the 2 and the 7, which have awkward diagonals in them. But if you look at the 5, you can see what I mean. So there's the 6 and the 8, and there's a small opening, a medium opening, and a bigger opening there. So then I tried to keep all the dimensions the same, so it's 200mm all round the width, and then each diagonal is a 45 to keep the angles consistent and easy to set on the saw. But I said the 2, the 7 and the 4 all have awkward angles in them. So when I'm drawing out a new template, I use the 8 and the 6 to use elements of them, and then I'll just use a straight edge just to continue where I can't use the 8 or the 6. So if you look at the 5, it's got the base of an 8 and then a straight section at the top. And there's the 2. You see what I mean by the awkward angles and the diagonal going through it. So to cut out the template, I use the track saw, and I use that as much as I can on the straight cuts because it gives a great straight cut. Then the jigsaw finishes off the straight cuts. Then I use scraps of wood and I pin them on to create straight edges, and then I'll use the router table with this spiral following bit to cut it out. If you're enjoying my video, then don't forget to subscribe and also support the channel on Patreon. The templates are all made from 12mm MDF. I use the track saw to do as many of the straight cuts as I can, just because it's the easiest way to do it and the quickest as well. I'll just finish off the cuts with the jigsaw. Looks like I'm cutting my hands off here, but really I'm not. I make these templates so each time I come to make the number, it's a lot quicker than actually cutting it out. It's easier to run around the template with the router table rather than cutting each one out individually. Here I'm just using scraps of MDF with straight edges on them, and I'm just pinning them on the template on my lines so I can use the following bit on the router and get nice straight edges. I've got the spiral following bit here in the trend router table. Now I like this router table because it's got a big table on it, so when I'm doing this large workpiece, it's basically fully supported. And as you can see, I've got dust extraction underneath, which is great when I'm doing this. I'll just pop off the scraps with a chisel. This piece of 3mm MDF is for the back, and I just draw around the template roughly cut it out with the jigsaw. I'm just leaving about 3 to 5 mil on, and then the router will trim the rest off. This piece of 12 mil MDF is the actual piece I'm going to use for the number. Again, just drawing around it and cutting it out with the jigsaw. So now I'm making a sandwich. So I've got the template on the top, the back in the middle, and then the actual piece at the bottom. So I've pinned through it, but the pins don't go all the way through the actual piece. It goes through all the way through the back, which doesn't really matter, but it doesn't go through the actual piece for the number. It just leaves little holes on the back. And again, just trimming it up on the router table. I'm just ripping down 12 mil pieces of MDF to 150 mil wide, and they'll be the sides. I'm just drawing parallel lines so I can work out and bisect the angles I've got to cut. So as I said, number 2s are quite awkward because they're not standard angles. But it's easy enough if you just bisect the angle. And then I either use a sliding bevel or this trend angle finder. I'll leave links to the tools in the description below. So these blocks are used just to prop up the number. And that's so it's in the right place when I put the sides on. So take the guesswork out of it. This is a little block I invented to just give a pencil line right in the middle of the 12 mil MDF. Draw a line so I know where to shoot the pins. I like to do the cuts on the table saw. Just because it's 150 mil wide, it's just a bit awkward on the mitre saw. So once the piece is cut to size, I mark it with my little block. Bit of polyurethane glue. And this is really strong, this glue, so it holds up really well. Plus any squeeze out is easy to clean up. Just make sure it's square and then fire a few 18 gauge pins into it. It does help if you've got a nice flat bench to work on. You only need a few while the glue dries. And then it's just a case of cut and repeat. And put a bit of glue on the mitre joints. I've seen people use mitre bond, the 2-part super glue, to do this, but I find that's a bit brittle and over time it'll start cracking. So polyurethane glue is a much better choice. Again, just make sure it's square. Little mark. And fire a pin in. When the glue's dry, scrape it off with a chisel, dead easy. Now this is the back side of the number. I just put these little blocks in, so I've got something to attach the back to. So again, just a little bit of polyurethane glue. And then just fire one brad into it. This polyurethane glue cleans off really easy. So this is a 13mm hole I'm drilling in an inconspicuous place. It's not really going to be seen when the number's set up, and that's to accept the wire. And these pieces are the fascia pieces. I'll put these on to make it look a bit more chunky, plus they hide the actual LED strips, and they are 6mm MDF. So this time I'm using the chop saw or mitre saw, because it's a lot easier than the table saw, and it's just a case of cutting the mitres all the way around. A bit of polyurethane glue on the back and on the joints, and again just 18 gauge brad into it. Gets pretty repetitive. Mitre, glue, pin, mitre, glue, pin. So when everything is assembled, I just use a bit of this filler just to fill in the nail holes and the joints. And give it a good sand with 180 grit sandpaper on the random orbit sander. And then I'm just using a bit of 150 here to do the round over. Take it outside, give it a good dusting off, and apply a bit of paint. So I'm applying 2 undercoat and 2 top coat. Now it is very awkward to spray the inside of this, and it's a lot easier to spray them than it is to use a brush and a roller, and you get a much better finish as well. This is just a water-based finish, so it's nice and easy to clean up in the spray gun afterwards. And when it's dry, I'm just denibbing it with a bit of 320 grit sandpaper, using the palm sander, and then do the round overs by hand. Give it a good hoovering out. I'm squashing the nozzle on my decorator's cork, just gives it a neater line, or a finer line. So I'm just corking any of the gaps inside. These are the lights I'm using, the Cobb LED strip lights. Now the Cobb lights are a continuous strip of light rather than the other ones which are dots of light. So it gives it a much cleaner light inside. So there's the hole we done before, so that's where I'm going to start and finish the lights. So in the pack you get a roll of the LED strip lights, power cord, a remote control and the remote receiver. So I'll take off the whole reel because I like to start at the end rather than the beginning. Just trim off the excess. Peel off the backing and tuck it in under the front edging. Now this has got a really strong adhesive on the back, and I'll leave Amazon links in the description below to these lights because they are really strong, and if you try and pull these off they'll just strip all the paint off, so make sure you get them right first time. Just put them on and give them a good press into place, and they're inconspicuous, so unless you're right up to the lights you won't see them, and they're flexible enough to go around the sharp corner there. Again, just press them into place firmly. Now these are long enough to go around every number that I've done. I think the 8 is the most surface area, so they're long enough to go around them. And then the excess I just put through that hole. I don't have to cut them down at all. Any excess is just inside. I'm just drilling a 13mm hole in the back to feed the wire through. And just put the back in place. Now I've just marked out where them blocks were, and just throw in a 20mm screw. I think they look great, and there's different settings on the lights, but they didn't show up very well on the camera. So I'm getting ready to take them to a party. So I think these look great with or without the lights on. All set up for the 21st birthday party. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.